I'm Ross Camidge. I'm the Director of Thoracic Oncology and the Joyce F. Chair in Lung Cancer Research at the University of Colorado Cancer Center. Oncologists make almost all of their progress through clinical trials. But there's a difference between recognizing that clinical trials are a good thing for, the community and saying you personally want to be a participant in that. So the concept of a clinical trial can raise a lot of stress. Are they experimenting on me? Am I going to get placebo? Who's going to pay for this? Do they really know it's the right thing? And I think this is part of a conversation that you have to have with your oncologist. Let's be clear, not every clinical trial is a good idea. Often though, in the hands of somebody who knows what they're doing, a clinical trial can be a means of getting access to a treatment that you wouldn't normally get access to, and maybe it's going to be the best treatment in the world. Certainly in our practice, we put about 40% of people on clinical trials, and that's because we get offered clinical trials multiple times a week, and we turn them down so that we really have the pick of the litter in our portfolio. And so, if there's the potential that a clinical trial is going to get you access to something, or you're in equipoise, it's Pepsi-Cola versus Coca-Cola, fine, I don't really care. The doctor doesn't really care, but maybe this will help the community figure out which is better. Those are all good. But I think you have to have that conversation. For me, the single most important question to ask your oncologist is, if I wasn't in a clinical trial, what would you do? And if that's very different from what they're talking about in the clinical trial, you should say why. Why is the clinical trial a better idea? One of the things that people are most afraid of in clinical trials is the concept of a placebo. What that means is a dummy treatment. You think you're getting something, but you're actually getting nothing. It's very rare in oncology to have a pure placebo-controlled study, i.e., you literally are getting nothing. Usually there are other active treatments. And where we use placebos, it's maybe like you get the active treatment and you either do or don't get something added into that. That's a much more common use of a placebo-controlled study in oncology. I think one of the things you should know is no one can put you in a placebo-controlled study without telling you that there's a chance that you could get a placebo. They also have to tell you what the chance is that you're going to get a placebo. Is it 1 in 10, 50-50? That has to be told to you up front. And again, if you ask that question, what would you do if I wasn't in this trial? You can help decide whether your options in either arm of the study are reasonable options. If one is grossly inferior to what you would get outside of the study, maybe the study has become redundant. Maybe this is an yesterday's paradigm, but the field has actually moved on. That actually happens. A new drug can get licensed, but a clinical trial randomizing you to A versus B, and neither of them is the new standard of care, still continue. They don't close the study immediately. So that's why that question is a really important one to ask. You can actually find there's a description of what clinical trials are like. It's called Who Are Clinical Trials For? Guinea Pigs, Test Pilots, or Prize Poodles. And it is contained in the Dario Foundation, also called the Go-To Foundation 360-degree handbook. You can also find it online and on Amazon, and it's free.